Gunsmithbeard here and back with another gun video, and it's really good to see you guys. But first and foremost, as I always say, I'm super humbled as the channel grows, and I'm super appreciative because if it wasn't for you guys, I think it was yesterday, we hit over 1,000 subscribers, and that is all because of you and your support and you telling friends about the channel and you being loyal to the channel and keep watching the content and having conversations each and every week. It's all you, so I give you all the credit. You guys did a great job, and I am super appreciative. So as a new year, you'll know some changes. Because the channel has grown past 1,000 subscribers, we will have ads on the videos. And I understand nobody likes ads and nobody likes commercials, but that's one of the growing pains of getting bigger is they will start putting ads on our or my content or the channel. So just some housekeeping stuff I wanted to talk about. A big thing I always do is I thank you guys for what you do, but also I thank the channel supporters, which are Brownells, Swampfox Optics, and Shooter Innovations for sponsoring the channel and supporting us to be able to get new and awesome things in front of you, things that I like and I figured you would like, new guns, new parts, new gun related items. So and I do apologize, it is a windy, cold day, so if the wind messes up the audio a little bit, I do apologize. But anyway, let's do what we always do, up close personal of the gun that we're talking about this week and go from there. See you in a second. Alright guys and girls, welcome back. It's going to be a fun conversation about this pre-lawsuit GSG-5SD6, and I'll kind of explain that in a second. So as you remember, the last video I kind of teased this one was coming. It is made by GSG, which is German Sport Guns, and this is the pre-lawsuit version. So if you're going to buy one, make sure you get this one, and it's the biggest way to tell is if it says GSG-5 on it and it's a metal body, so not polymer but actual metal, just like the real MP5s are, then you have a pre-lawsuit version. If it says GSG-16 and this is polymer and this doesn't look like an MP5 at all and you have this weird stock thing, then you have a post-lawsuit GSG and it's not what you want. Those things are junk, and I'll get into that in a second why they're terrible. But if you want to get one of these and have a lot of fun, then I would say get the GSG-5s, the pre-lawsuit ones, the metal ones, because that's what you want. The reason the lawsuit came, and I'll kind of get into why all that happened, is because these things came out in 2007, March of 2007. In 2008 to 2010, HK immediately started suing GSG because they're like, hey, you're making our gun, and our parts, our genuine HK parts will work. Like 90% of them will actually work on this gun as far as accessories, furniture, and other options that are out there will actually work on the gun. And that's why, honestly, a lot of people love these so much, is because you could go to hkparts.net and you could buy all the parts from a real one and put it on this one, even though that made this little 22 rifle kind of expensive, but I understand it. A lot of the 70s and 80s guys and girls like me loved the 90s action movies where everybody die hard had an MP5 or MP5K and they're running around doing God's work. I'm just kidding. But having fun and defending or attacking and all that stuff. The fun action movie stuff from the 90s where MP5s were the gun to have. So there's a lot of nostalgia for me to have anything like that. So I have had real MP5s, I've had clones, and this was definitely a clone. And so this is a really cool gun to have because of how well it's made and how great it's made. And it will take actual HK parts, which is a godsend. So production of pre-lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken, was 2007 to 2014. And then 2014 to present day with the GSG-16 garbage. There are variances to this, and I'll try to get into this a little deeper. So if you understand MP5s, you might understand some of the nomenclature I'm about to go over. So GSG made the GSG-5A, which is a shorter barrel. It doesn't have the MOC suppressor on it, and I can't remember if they didn't have a stock or not. But if you put a stock on them, and if it had a short barrel and you SBR'd it, I guess, then it would be the closest to an HK MP5A2. Then they had the 16-inch version of that, which is the GSG-5L, and that has a skinny MOC suppressor on it. This is the fat one because this is the SD model. And then next is the SD models, which, in my opinion, those look like the HK MP5 SD 5s and 6s. The difference between the 5 is the 5 is a fixed stock, the 6 has the collapsible, adjustable stock like this one. I have both stocks, and you can swap them out. You can replace the proprietary pin that screws into itself by GSG and get an actual punch pin or push pin by HK. And they'll go into the body, and they'll work just like a regular MP5. So if you wanted to swap the pins out, super easy to do. You just take these pins out and put the HK pins in, which I was gonna do and just forgot about it. And now that I'm looking at it on camera, I should have done that, but I didn't. So if you wanted to swap stocks, it's really easy with the push pins. The GSG-5P is a pistol variant by ATF and US standards. It's just pretty much like this, but it doesn't have this piece, and it doesn't have a stock at all. If you want to SBR it and pay a $200 tax stamp, which that's up to you, or a pistol brace, I guess, because we can have those again as of this video, then you could do that and put a stock on it and pay this tax stamp, or put a brace on it and not. I'm just saying, then you could run that. But those, in my opinion, if you look at how they made the design and how the HK made their design, it looks like the MP5A1s, the very first ones. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And then obviously they had to have a GSPK, or excuse me, GSG-PK, which looks like the MP5K model, which is the pistol version. And if you're like, which one is the K again? Just look back at the 90s movie The Matrix, where Neo had two of the small MP5Ks in his hand, and he was running them. They didn't have a stock, they had like a sling, and he was just holding two, and he was doing this number. That's the gun that I'm talking about. So let's talk about the lawsuit, because I'm trying to get through this video because it's really cold and windy, so I do apologize if I'm going a little fast. So like I said, 2008 to 2010, HK started suing GSG and ATI because it looks too much like an HK, and it has too much ability to put HK parts on this firearm. They hated that. It does have the HK bolt, so you can kind of do the HK slap, which is what I just did, or you can thumb it. A lot of guys that have real MP5s, they don't like doing the slap unless they're on camera, and then they do the slap all the time. They thumb it, which means they take their thumb and they roll their thumb or hand over, and it lets the bolt go home. So like this, that's another way to do it. The bolt does go back. It does have the locking position like a real MP5, which if you're going to buy a clone, make sure it does all the things that a real MP5 does, and it has the weight. The pre-lawsuit has the weight. The post-lawsuit does not, because the GSG-16s, which are the post-lawsuit, the body and front tube are not metal, I don't believe. They're polymer, and so when you pick it up, it feels plasticky and cheap. That's why if I can get a pre-lawsuit for $300 to $400, I would just buy that and not even worry about that garbage plastic funhouse that feels like an airsoft gun, not a real gun. So another thing that happened during all these lawsuits is in 2010, ATF got involved because GSG sent a mock suppressor that threaded onto the front post, but it was empty. And so it was an empty tube that threaded into the front post, which means it wouldn't be too hard for someone to modify that, put baffles in it, and then actually have a suppressor on the gun that was manufacturally sent. Basically, they sent you an empty tube that you could put baffles in. And so ATF is like, what the heck is that? You can't have that. We have to regulate everything, and you have to get a shroud. And so I'll show you what the difference between an empty tube and a shroud looks like. It is just that. It's just a shroud piece that slides over a very long barrel. So that is the actual length of the barrel to make it not a pistol or an SBR. It's a 16.1 inch barrel with this shroud. So the shroud is just basically a welded tube or solid piece of tube that just slides over the barrel and threads into the post. It doesn't suppress anything. And that was the issue the ATF had with it, and they did a recall. And as you know now, that I don't have the not recalled, I have the new version, the recalled version I don't have, because whoever owned this before I bought it on guns.com got the recalled version. So, and a lot of people get scared at that kind of stuff, so they're like, I'm just going to get the recalled version because I don't want anybody in a black van knocking on my door at 3 in the morning and shooting my dog. So this is the pre-lawsuit version. I do want to emphasize, this is the Magpul M-Lock MP5 series handguard. It's not the one that came on it. So if you look up a MP5 SD 5 or 6, you'll realize that the handguard is different, and the handguard on those go over the shroud, so it looks like the suppressor is like built into the handguard, and that's what the SD series looks like in the real version from HK, and that's what I have. I just don't have it on there. I just like this handguard a little better because this isn't actually a suppressor. It's just a piece of pipe that slides over the barrel as a shroud. So that's why I don't have that handguard on there. I just like the way this one feels a lot better. It just does. Some of the things that are on here that I absolutely love is you can replace the stocks with actual HK parts. Like if you wanted a fixed stock, you could get the 5. If you wanted the collapsible stock, you could get the 6. The trigger package, you could actually upgrade this. If you wanted to, a Magpul also. The push pins, like I talked earlier, you could get rid of. This does have the claw mount spots on the body, so you can run a claw mount and then run an optic like I did. It does have the drum rear aperture, which is very nice, very tactile, really well made metal, not plastic. The front post is metal, not plastic. You can replace the front sight. They have a really cool one that I think has a fiber in it, which is really nice during the day. And I will say this, a lot of guys won't spend the money to take a 22 of anything and SBR it. Some guys do, some guys don't, because it's like, that's a cheap gun. Why would I spend more money on a cheap gun? I get it, but a lot of guys will chop this barrel after they get their Form 1 approval letter and actually put their can on it. And I might do that because I already have a can coming that we'll talk about this year when I get it. Chop the barrel and thread it. That way I can, and probably a 1/2 by 28 thread pitch, and that way I can thread my can on it, and then it'll be fun for me and the kids and the family to shoot. So this is my GSG-5SD model, pre-lawsuit, obviously, from all the things I've told you about it. It's an amazing gun. It shoots really well. It doesn't like cheap ammo. I shoot kind of the TSI. I shoot the CCI brand ammo in this. It doesn't really matter so much the grain of the bullet. It just shoots that better than the cheaper stuff and budget stuff. And obviously, if you shoot suppressed, you need to get the correct ammo to get it as quiet as you possibly can. But anyway, this is my GSG-5SD. I wanted to share it with you because it's a fun gun. You can still find them for reasonable prices. And if you're going to buy something like this and you want to have kind of the nostalgia of having an MP5 but in 22 and not pay for a plasticky piece of crap, then this is what I would recommend. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Work hard, God first. See ya.